Hello everyone, we're here to talk about the fourth episode of The Bear entitled Violet. So this is very much a change in pace from the previous episode where chaos was ensuing left and right. And this one here is with the different characters, mostly outside the restaurant. We get a glimpse of what these people are like in their personal lives, just intimate moments they have with those that are around them. And yeah, just like the regular goings-ons of their day. So we start off with Carmy and Claire, and they're basically having small talk with each other, being close. And he mentions about how he can't turn his mind off, I believe. And then she points out the scar that he has on his hand, and he got that at the kitchen. And she was talking about incidences at the hospital and her patients and things like that. So, I found that this scene and many of the scenes, it's not really about the substance of what they're talking about that's really important. Again, it's the interaction between the two characters and showing that they have lives outside of this place. I mentioned that when Claire showed up on the canvas, I would give more of my opinions about the Claire-Carmy relationship. And so now that she's here, let's do that. So I mentioned previously that I don't think Claire and Carmy should be together, and I know people aren't really fans. I read even since last year that people aren't really fans of Claire. I wouldn't say I think she's the best character I've seen on TV ever, but I don't mind her. I think she seems like a nice lady, a nice young woman. She has things going for her. The other people seem to like her. She seems to be well liked and respected, so that's good. I just don't know why she's spending time with Carmy. I'm sorry. I love Carmy, but he is just walking red flags all over the place. Not because he's a bad guy. It's just he is not the kind of person who should be in a relationship right now. I don't think so. And when you go back to last year when they first met each other again, because I guess they were high school friends or childhood friends, but they hadn't seen each other in a while, and she asked for his number. And I could tell that he gave her a fake number. And then later on, she confirmed it. And it's that's such a 90s thing to do. I didn't know people gave up fake numbers anymore. But yeah, she called him out on it. If somebody did that to me, especially somebody who I know I run in the same circles with, I'm not talking to you, especially seeing how stressed out he is all the time. So yeah, I don't like the Claire-Carmy relationship because I think Claire just tried really hard with him and he didn't do what he should have done. Or actually, no, I shouldn't say that because I was actually a little surprised that things were working out. But then, of course, at the end of the season finale last year, he, said all those different things and, ended the relationship. So that's my opinion on Carmy and Claire. Then we see Marcus at his mother's house. You see the room that she was in that had all the medical equipment. And it's not really too much to say. He's just kind of mourning, and I'm guessing figuring out what he's going to do with the house and how he's going to move on after that. And then later we see Sid looking at her email, and that DocuSign. DocuSign is really the product placement is very obvious, but whatever. If they're supporting this, I'm totally down. And yeah, so she is looking at the DocuSign or about to open the email, and we see that she's reticent to go ahead and sign the document to confirm her partnership. So I understand why, especially after the show that Carmy put on last episode. And she's going through a lot. She has a lot to ponder about her life. And then she's looking for an apartment with her dad. And I don't know. Again, I might be showing a lot of my idiosyncrasies when I talk about this show, but I would never go apartment shopping with one of my parents. I'm sorry, because I remember when I bought my place, in Toronto, I live downtown, and my dad had all sorts of 2 cents saying, oh, it's so expensive. Why would you buy a place down there? It's so small. You can buy a house in the suburbs and stuff like that. And so her dad is telling her oh, it's so expensive. You can just stay at home. It's no, I want to move. I am moving. I do not want to live with you anymore because I'm a grown person. So yeah, but he seems pretty cool though. So it's all good. But yeah, she has a lot going on with her right now. Then we see Richie with his daughter, and they're just, chit-chatting, having a nice father-daughter moment. And I believe she talks about, the upcoming marriage of her mom and, her new boyfriend. And yeah, it's just an intimate moment with Richie and his daughter, and he's not yelling or spitting at her. So that's a good thing, right? Of course, he wouldn't do that with her, but everything is nice and calm because he's not in the restaurant right now. Sugar's with her husband and he's away on a trip. The baby's coming in 2 weeks, but she's like, you can go. And she mentions that she has to see Dee Dee. So I'm assuming that's her mom. I couldn't remember if that was her mom's nickname, but the name is Donna. So I'm guessing that's it. And of course she has a bit of apprehension because Donna is a lot to deal with. So there you go. When Tina goes to the farmer's market, she knows that the amount of produce is less than it typically is. And the man running there says, the seasons are shorter, the harvests are less, and so they have less things. So I have seen the episode where she's heavily featured later on. So I guess this kind of goes to the theme of, things are always changing, like not sometimes for the worse, better or worse, doesn't matter. You have to adapt with the times and adapt with the changes. We get to the scene with the Fack brothers, and as I mentioned in the previous video, I find them to be very caricaturish, and the yelling, it just sounds like they sound like children. I'm sorry, I would not be able to deal with that.
You think Bear's gonna like this? I think he's gonna love it. I think he's gonna love it too. Hey, yo, Carm, come on in here! Help! Help!
No!
Please!
I don't want to.
Just come in here because it's nice in here. It's nice in here. Help us help you! Help us help you! Yo, he's coming. Chill. Okay. Chill. You look good too. Is that a little choo-choo train on your tie? Yeah, it's nice, right? It looks good. Yeah.
What?
But anyway, in this part, they show a little decoration that they've done where they put the pictures of all these different food critics above the table or somewhere on the wall. And when I saw that, I thought that would be triggering for me if I was in Carmy's shoes, even if I wasn't as stressed out as he is. But to see all these people who could potentially come to your place and judge you in a negative way, I would not want to have their faces or reminders of them in my office. Like, no way. We go to Ebra and we see he's prepping for the day, for the lunch rush, for the sandwiches, and everything seems to be in complete disarray at his station. And I'm, again, as somebody who's never worked in a kitchen before, is that typical? Like, would that typically be the situation? Like, wouldn't you have a system set up already to make things tidy and flow well? I don't know. All right, so Richie drops his daughter off to his wife's place and the new fiance shows up, and I was shocked to see one Mr. Josh Hartnett there. I might have had a few posters of him up in my wall back in 2002. That's almost funny to see him there. But anyway, his character though, it's like, oh my gosh, could you just spit it out? Like when he was saying I should have talked to you beforehand, and Richie said, I'm not, his ex-wife's father, you don't need to ask for my approval. But I guess it shows that he's a decent guy and he seems like a nice guy and they seem to have a good rapport, and that's all he could really ask for, I guess. We see Sid meets up with a colleague in the food industry, and I know this guy's face. I can't recall who he is right now, but she seems apprehensive that he was in the restaurant and he, experienced it, and she's hoping that the food didn't taste like garbage, but he said it was excellent. And so they part ways, and I think he offers to hang out with her later or something. And so we see again, Sid is nervous about this entire thing, which makes sense, especially for her. We go into the kitchen, Carmy is there, and Sid notices that one of the peppers are changed in a recipe. And so she says, it might even taste better with the pepper that you're suggesting, but you didn't tell me that you were changing it. And then he said, before you get pissed about it, why don't you try and see what it tastes like? And she said, and she's very calm. She is way more calm than I would be. She said, I'm not pissed. I'm just saying, again, the conversation, the communication needs to happen. And yeah, I wouldn't be able to take, even if I was her, it would be too much. But then they go back to the regular back and forth and things are okay. She asks him about the smoking. She tries the Nicorette gum. She hates it. And so, and with them, I think Carmy is really relying on their great foundation, their friendship, their partnership. And that's why he can act in whatever way he feels like. But, that capital can only last for so long. And he really needs to stop pushing the limit because Sid does not deserve this. We have a scene with Sugar and Richie, and they're going back and forth. Of course, Richie is giving his opinions about the Michelin star rating, and they're talking about art. But then they have a bit more of a serious conversation where Sugar is talking about how, she's apprehensive about, her daughter coming along, and she does not want to spread the generational trauma she has that she acquired from her mom to the kid. And so she's just having nervousness. Again, the due date's in 2 weeks. And so it's just a nice tender moment that they're sharing. Later at the end in the kitchen, there's Sid, Carmy, Sugar, Richie, and Tina. And Richie asks, why is the Chicago Tribune coming in to take pictures? Sid mentions that they have already come in to review the place and they're getting the follow-up pictures. And so everyone looks kind of, kind of taking a cleansing breath, because anyone would be nervous if they found out after the fact that reviewers come in, but especially them in the chaotic state that their restaurant is in, it's even more unnerving. And so we end the episode there. This episode is a good episode, not my favorite. I do prefer the more high energy episodes of The Bear, but it was nice to see these people in their personal lives. Like, some of the scenes I felt dragged on a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I'm not complaining. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next episode 5 now. And I'll be back here on I See Melanie to review it. So in the meantime, please leave your thoughts in the comments area, and I'll see you later. Okay? Bye.